Buckeye Lounge, we run this game. Rockstar Sean, remember the name. TG's lurking, Wolverine's fear. Scarlet and gray, make it loud and clear. O H O O H O. TG and Sean, bringing that smoke. They stand in the paint, that ain't no joke. Tune in, turn up, let the show begin. The Buckeye Lounge, straight fire within. O H O O H O. Buckeye Lounge, we run this game. Rockstar Sean, remember the name. TG's lurking, Wolverine's fear. Scarlet and gray, make it loud and clear. O H O O H
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Buckeye fans of all ages, the Ohio Podcast brings to you the Buckeye Lounge. I'm your host, the Rockstar Sean Schrock. And along with me, like always, my co-host, my partner in crime, the Wolverine Slayer herself, TG. And today, we have a very special guest with us, a Buckeye legend himself, Mr. James Cotton. James, TG, how are you guys doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Mr. Cotton?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. Just enjoying life.
So James, a little bit about yourself. Tell everybody the years you played at Ohio State and how you got to be a Buckeye.
Absolutely. It's a great question, man. And I'll keep it short and sweet. I will elaborate on some details, but some stories are long, so I'm going to keep it pleasant for all of the viewers. I went to the Ohio State 1998 and 99. I only played 2 seasons, and a lot of people be like, man, that's just 2 years. I transferred in, so I was hip to the transfer portal back in the day. And this was when, junior college was way popular back then. And so I played 2 years at City College of San Francisco, which is the best junior college football program in the country, hands down. And then after that, I took my talents back to Columbus. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. A lot of people think I'm from California, but I'm originally from Cleveland, so I'm a home Ohio-based kid. And so it was just great to get back to the Buckeyes, and that was my ultimate goal, being a junior college player. I had to pay my first 2 years out of my own pocket, pay for college. And so when I got that Division I scholarship, you guys could only imagine, what that felt like. It doesn't feel like the NIL money that they're getting, but
and at least back then, a lot of people may not know that the transfer rules were a lot stricter, and usually you had to sit out a year. But coming from junior college, you didn't have to sit out a year, did you?
no, you come right in and play right away.
Did you have any D1 offers from other colleges before you coming out of high school? Because I know you were an all-state football player and baseball player.
Yes, I've played football, basketball, and baseball, made All-State in 3. And I actually just got inducted into my high school Hall of Fame last year after 30 years of being out of high school.
Congrats.
I finally got the call.
Nice.
Thanks. And so it was an honor for my family to come and be a part of that celebration. Both my mom and dad went to the same high school, and so for me to put the family name on my back and be able to carry that lineage is a tremendous honor for myself. And I think that, whenever you have the opportunity to play multiple sports, I always encourage kids to do that. But playing football was just kind of like one of those things that I was pretty excited about.
Okay, I would say, I would want to ask this. What would you say playing multiple sports, how do you think it helped you in your football career?
Well, it helped me in my football career because when you have baseball or basketball, for instance, it's all about playing defense, mirroring. And so in football, there's a lot of that going on. And so your athleticism really sticks out. And then in baseball, it's just the hand-eye coordination type of thing, and then the speed around the bases, and just like the speed, playing defense in the outfields and chasing balls down and throwing it back in. But all of that stuff requires athleticism, and so when you put all of those together, you kind of get football. And I didn't play football until I got into high school, so I was kind of a late bloomer when it came to high school playing football. And when I left high school, the reason why I had to go to a community college or a junior college was I tore my ACL my senior year playing football, unfortunately. And so all of my Division I scholarships kind of went out the window. And the only school that stuck with me was the University of Kentucky. Not too many people know this story. So the University of Kentucky held my scholarship and was like, "Hey, we still want you. All you got to do is score high enough on the ACT, SAT score, and then you'll be qualified and you'll get your scholarship in January." So in order to help me pass the test, I took some courses at the community college up in Cleveland, Tri C,
Mhm.
and I scored high enough and I was ready to go. But I had enrolled full time as a student, which I was supposed to only go part time. And when I enrolled full time, my eligibility started. And so I had to go to a community college. And so that was one of those stories that I was telling you in the beginning that's kind of like long, and I'll just,
Hey, man.
Hey, that's great. It's actually better for people to know. People love getting into the stuff they never know.
absolutely.
What made you choose football over baseball?
Yeah.
That's an excellent question, man. It was more of a God thing. Honestly, I had a conversation with myself because I was going to play baseball at my community college because my dad played baseball in college, basketball in college, and so it was just kind of like a part of my blood.
Nice.
And my football coach out in San Francisco, he was like, "I didn't bring you out here to play multiple sports," and so he was like, "If you're going to be my starting middle linebacker and the team captain, I'm gonna need you focused and dialed in." And so I just kind of let my baseball career dissolve at that particular point. But when I got to Ohio State, at this time, the baseball team would use our indoor facility. So I used to be there doing round robin with the baseball team, guys like Nick Swisher and
Oh,
all of the Buckeye greats that we had back then. So I used to go out there, play catch with those guys, and hit the ball around. So that was the last time I really played baseball. So
Ooh, that's nice. Um, what story? You said you came in 1998, 1999, right?
yes.
What fun John Cooper stories do you have?
Fun John Cooper stories, man, is
Hmm.
there's quite a few of them out there. I mean, he had the charisma, like I mean, he was a great recruiter, obviously, and the talent that he immersed at Ohio State. You
sure.
know, unfortunately, he just didn't have a great record against that team up north. But one of his things was just like his 10 Commandments. He had these Coach Cooper 10 Commandments, and it was the most basic thing in football. It was like the team that wins the surest way is going to win the ball game. If you score more points than your opponent, you'll win the ball game. It was like really. Can we get some more in depth stuff? But that's one of them. But then he used to always tell people, we let James Cotton off the bus first because he passed the look test. So I was kind of like the enforcer on the team as well. So anybody that messed with our star player or something like that, I would kind of like enforce the issue. So, and he was a great comedian, man. He had
Thank
like
you.
inside jokes and stories on players, and he would, when he would get pissed off, he would let people he would let people have it. But it was very rare that he got upset. But he was a good coach, a good guy. Still see him from time to time, and if he's on the sidelines and we get opportunity to chop it up, I'm just glad that he remembers my name. And here's the last story I'll tell about John Cooper since you asked. So, and the reason why I say I'm glad he remembered my name is because we had a star running back in the '90s, Pepe Pearson,
Yep.
Mm.
and he seen Pepe, and we was all together. And after Pepe walked away, he said, "Who was that?" like, well, he's only like, I don't know, top 15 on the rushing list at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Like you would think,
Yeah.
you recruited the kid, and so that was. But I think he's about 80. He might be 90 now. He like
Wow.
85, somewhere in there. So he's up there in age, but he still gets around.
See, I tell people to this day, if we would have had the same playoff format that we have now that we had back then, that 98 team and that 96 team probably would have won a national championship.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, hands down, hands down. The 98 team for sure. That's arguably the best team in Ohio State history. Only because I was on it, but
My first game was actually the Iowa game in '99, so that's the first game I actually went to. So I got to see you play a couple times that year because I had some buddies that went to school down there, so they got me tickets. So I got to watch you guys play.
oh
Um,
yeah, I remember that game. We shut them out
yep,
actually,
Mm.
and
90,
I knocked out one of their receivers. It was like an interception, and our defensive. I think Nate Clemens intercepted the ball, and on the run back, I knocked the receiver out of the game. That's what I used to love about. That's how I used to take my frustrations out back in the day. Is just organized crime on the football field. So
that's the best way to do it. That's the way to
Oh
do it.
man. Oh, I feel so bad for that one person who had to go off on you, and I wonder you felt irritated. I feel bad for that one person. Hey, given talking about that '98 too, how did it feel getting that victory over the scum up north for Cooper? Since we know how his record was against him. How did it feel?
oh, it felt amazing because it was a lot of those seniors on that team hadn't won against that team up north, and so to send those guys out like Antoine Winfield, Damon Moore, we knew Andy Casamore wasn't coming back for his senior year. Uh, Maine, the list goes on. There's a whole bunch of great seniors on that team, and to send those guys out at home in the shoe, and then I'll never forget the fans rush the field. And this is back when we had the grass field, and I actually still have the grass and the dirt from that game
Oh,
back
cool.
at home at my
Awesome.
parents' house because they was able to pluck some grass and took a big patch out of it, and so that was pretty cool. And it was just a monumental thing because leading up to that team up north week is always a Buckeye great that comes in and speak. And I think Jack Tatum had came in, and when you see guys like that, legends like crying, being emotional, and like I mean that's what you got. That's what we got to get. You know, this current regime on and get some Buckeye greats in there, man, and show that emotion and get that feeling back on what it's like to beat that team up north. So, Ryan Day, if you're listening, man, you need me to come in and pump the guys up that day. Let me know.
I've heard other players say that Trussell was really big on that too. That he would bring in former guys to come in. I've heard that Spielman gave some inspiring speeches. Eddie George did too. There's no reason why he shouldn't do that the week of
Absolutely.
Michigan and have someone different or even a couple guys every day of the week come in there and remind those guys how much that game means to the state of Ohio. I know, nowadays the Michigan game doesn't have the emphasis on it like it used to because if you lost to that team in that game, it meant your season was totally over. This time we got the playoffs now, but it's still you don't want to lose to those guys and lose even two in a row is unacceptable. And the way it's gone down, I mean, no, it needs to end this year. So
Yeah, I mean, I would say this: they're 1-1 because I hesitate with the last 3 years, which I don't know how you feel about that, James, but I can't with the stuff that's come out. I just can't with them.
Yeah. And
Like,
it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you line up, you play football. Everybody's looking for an advantage. I'm not the guy to make up excuses.
sure.
sure,
I think what they did was extremely pathetic, and that's about all I will say on it. But it's like at the end of the day, we had opportunities in the game, and we just came up short. And
yeah,
that's
2024
just
was
my
unacceptable.
yeah.
One thing
That
I'd like to ask you, James, who is probably the best? You can give me two or three players. Who are the best players that you played with at Ohio State, and who was a couple of your opponents you would say was the best opponent you ever went against?
The guys that I played with at Ohio State that were like unbelievable athletes would be guys like Mike Wiley, Derrick Ross, guys like C. Grant, Tim Cheatwood, Joe Cooper, and these are guys that have like either changed positions, been asked to change positions, and have excelled. And I think the most athletic player would probably be Derrick Ross, drafted by the Cowboys, and he was like a kick returner, but had some off the field issues, but just an unbelievable athlete. He was my teammate with the Atlanta Falcons as well, and so we lived together, as professional athletes and real pretty good friends. Obviously from Ohio State, in school and just hanging out. But he hands down, man, like he would lock guys down and then he would intercept passes, take it to the house, man. Very underrated player in my opinion. Toughest opponent I would say Ron Dane,
Ooh,
Heisman Trophy winner 1999. We held him in check. I think he had like 17 yards rushing at halftime and ended up with like 220 something yards.
I remember that game.
So he was pretty tough. And then I would say Dante Hall for Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
They used to call him the human joystick. We played them in the Texas. We played them in the Sugar Bowl in '98.
And you guys
And
ended up.
then of course, Tom Brady and Drew Brees. I knew those guys were going to be exceptionally good on the next level, just because of their pocket presence and their poise. And I should have sacked Drew Brees at least 5 times, and it was just like when I got to him, he would just give you like a little shoulder roll or just step up. He never panicked, and it's just like you just never see guys like that this day and age. A lot of guys get happy feet and like want to run and take off, but those guys just kind of like kept their head downfield and went through their progressions and will pick you apart. And both of those guys will end up in the Hall of Fame for sure. But I just like to say, I actually sacked those guys, so
And,
that's what I'm excited about.
and you're the last person in the history of the big. I mean, to sack Tom Brady in the big house, and you sacked him not once but twice, if I'm not if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Ah,
Yep.
Nobody else on the planet can say that except for me. We just so happen to be seniors the same year, and our last game was up in the big house. But again, it was 17-17. The 2 minutes left to go into the game, and they got the ball last. And we all know what Tom Brady does when he get the ball last. So he had that magic even back then.
I have to ask this. Given because we never really talked about this, but what got you into football to begin with?
What got me into football was I had older cousins and friends that all played, and so for me, because like I said, I didn't grow up playing football. Now I played like street football, or we went to the field and played like a turkey bowl game or something like that. I would play and like just outrun everybody and just was real good at, because I was just a good athlete. And so my cousins and them like, man, you got to start playing football. Like come up to the school and play football. And so since those was my older cousins, I pretty much did whatever they asked me to do. So I actually started football in ninth grade and then I quit. I was just like, man, it's not for me. And because it was just like too much contact. I didn't really understand the game. But then my dad heard that I quit, and he was like, "Yeah, so if you quit football now, you're gonna probably quit everything else you try in life. So you need to get back on the team." And the end of my freshman year, I was playing varsity, so
wow. And
it worked out.
well, some people don't understand too. I'm from Northwest Ohio. I'm by the Sandusky area, but Northeast Ohio has so much talent in high school football. I mean, you guys are loaded up we're still loaded to this day with all the great teams that you guys had to play against and all the talent that's just in that area. It's just amazing to me. All the people that have come out of the Cleveland area that have either gone pro or been, all American college players.
Yeah, there's a ton of guys, man. The history runs deep, especially in the Sandusky area. Orlando Pace, obviously, and then all of the Cleveland greats, Robert Smith, Pepe Pearson. The list goes on and on.
We just had Robert on. What a great dude he is, man. Great guy to talk to.
Yeah, yeah. Cool dude.
Yeah. I would have to ask 1999. What was that year like exactly?
Well, it was a forgettable year for sure. We were 6-6. So up until Luke Fickle came in, that was the last Ohio State team that hadn't uh, finished above 500. So I was glad to get that off of my name tag because it was like, and when you have a bad team like that, I wouldn't say bad, but just a team that doesn't win, then it kind of affects everybody's draft stock. So my senior year, we were 6-6, and so I had to make it a point to play well in games where there was other guys like first round talent. So like when we played Penn State, it was Courtney Brown, LeVar Arrington. So you knew a whole bunch of eyes were going to be, on that game as far as scouting and stuff like that goes. And so I ended up chasing a guy down from Penn State. He was like the fastest guy on their team, and he got chased down by me, defensive end. And so it was like the commentator were just all blown away by that. But when you have the opportunity to, excel, you got to take advantage of those moments. But just like that year was just so up and down, and it was partly due to the fact that we didn't have a quarterback that was like groomed in game situations, and Joe Germain took most of the snaps in '98, and so there was a quarterback competition between Steve Bellisari and Austin Muckerman. And Steve Bellisari had played safety the year prior to that, so he wasn't even playing quarterback, and so we didn't do that well offensively. Now we made some big plays and won a few games, but I just recall just like being in dog fights, and it just wasn't like the '98 season. And it was like we lost a lot of talent, but and it was like here at Ohio State, we reload, we don't rebuild, but that was a year we definitely reloaded, and I think, it's a testament to like the guys that were freshmen or redshirt freshmen on that '99 team, because that's the same team that won the 2002 national championship. And we opened up in 1999 against the Hurricanes. And for those guys to take care of business, and it was like a lot of those guys even said, and I'm talking about guys like C. Grant, Matt Wilhelm, who else was young on that team? There's a lot of young guys on that team that had the opportunity, and it was like if we ever play Miami again, we gonna let them know. And so it was cool to see those guys get that opportunity in the national championship game. Ben Hartsock, I heard you talking about
Yeah.
Ben Hartsock. He was one of the guys that I used to rough up in practice and toughen him up, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy as well. So
I think it's because of guys like you that made them better.
Yeah.
You had to go through that.
that's what I said, and that's just like I'm still waiting on a national championship ring from that too.
Hey, well, he's supposed to come on with us in July. I'll ask him about that. I'll be like, James is still waiting for his national championship ring. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, he on his podcast, he gave me like a big huge shout out, and he was like, I don't know if you guys remember because they was asking him who was like the toughest guy he went up against in practice. He, whatever you do, just Google this name, James Cotton. And he's like, he was ripped up, cut up, and I had to go against this guy every day, and he was like tough as nails, and so he gave me like a huge shout out. I had people hit me up like, "Did you know Ben was talking about you on this radio show?" I was like, I had no idea, but then they sent me the clip of it. I was like, all right, and so I see him like maybe once or twice a year because he used to play for the Falcons too, and so
Okay.
when I go down to the Falcons game, he's always there, so we'll connect and hang out, tell some old stories.
Do you ever run into Michael Jenkins too?
Yep,
Ooh.
There's another,
yep,
there's another
and
guy.
him down there.
Here's another guy
Yeah,
that.
he's got a son playing. He's got a son playing college football right now, I believe.
Oh, really? I didn't
Really?
know that.
I can't remember the name of the school, but there's quite a few guys that's got like some kids playing college football, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to ask, what do you think of the current era with NIL and the transfer portal, and how would you actually how what advice would you give to players about this era if you could?
That is extremely a difficult question. I know me personally, I'm a loyal guy, so once I make the commitment to be a part of something, I'm going to, uphold my duties. Uh, it would have to be a dire situation for me to kind of like transfer, like especially from Ohio State. Like
Right.
I don't see where the grass is greener at, but the grass is greener wherever there's the money at. So I think that's what a lot of these young guys are chasing the money, and some people situations, they looking for better situations to get more playing time, which is understandable. But I was just cut from the cloth where I'm gonna outwork you and earn it. And so that's just my mentality. But my advice to these guys is like you have to put yourself in the best situation possible, whether that's mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And so if that environment isn't conducive to any of those things, then you obviously have to remove yourself from that situation. But it's okay to struggle and go through some difficult times because you'll be surprised how you come out on the other side and the things that you will learn that's going to help you for the future. And so I just hope a lot of guys don't miss those opportunities to kind of create equity for themselves to learn certain skill sets. And I think that's what a lot of guys will miss out on by transferring too quickly or removing themselves from a situation because you got to face adversity to find out who and what you're made of. And I'm a firm believer in that. Adversity, you will definitely find out who you are as a person because once you've been tested and you look the dark side eye to eye, then you will have the confidence to know that, you know what, I got 100% survival rate. And so I'm ready and built for anything.
Sean.
Now, if a kid come up to you and he's deciding between Ohio State and another school, and he come up and he said, "James, why should I pick Ohio State?" What would you say to him?
I would say you pick Ohio State because we have the biggest alumni network in the world. And so when you have that in your back pocket, no matter what you do, if you're looking for a job opportunity, if you're looking for business to do, start a business, you need support for your business. When you have a network that is willing to support you, your network is your net worth. So when you have that, you're creating an opportunity for yourself to be successful. And so that's why you want to align yourself with the Ohio State University. And that's honestly the reason why I chose Ohio State. My dad told me, because it was between Ohio State and Florida State. And this is when Ohio State had played Florida State in back to back Sugar Bowls back in 96, 97, or 97. Yeah, I think it was the 96, 97 teams.
95,
And
90. Yeah.
and so they had Florida State had beat them handily. And I was like, whoever wins this game, that's the school I'm going to go to. and they beat the brakes off Ohio State. And I was like, the Buckeyes need me. They need my speed and all of that stuff on the defense. And so that's why ultimately I became a Buckeye. But my dad was just like, you being a kid from Cleveland, once you graduate, the alumni is going to look out for you. It's a great opportunity for you to network. So,
Sure.
football don't last forever. And so once you transition from football, you have to put yourself in position to be successful. And so that was one of the main reasons why I live in Columbus to this day, is because my businesses and just the network, and everybody loves to do business with a Buckeye, and just like the love and appreciation. We do got some overly diehard Buckeye fans. Some people may take it too far with
Sure.
the death threats and like silly
Yeah.
stuff like that. But for the most part, your loyal diehard fans are just genuinely people that really appreciate what you did on Saturdays. And that's what I tell people when I meet them. I'm like, hey, I sacrificed a lot just for the sake of your entertainment.
Hmm.
So,
Hey,
but
why don't you?
I love meeting the fans, and because I'm always out in the community signing autographs, taking pictures, and all of that good stuff.
I know Eric and Chris told us that you always stop by their tailgate, and I've had other friends tell me you stop by their tailgate too. So I mean, that's true. You're always around. Why don't we give a chance? Since you're talking about businesses, why don't you let everybody know what you're doing nowadays, so you can let everybody know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I have a couple of companies. The first is Buck Icon, Buckicon. And if you want to hop on the website, check it out. Just add .com to that. So buckicon.com. We actually just kind of like pivoted and changed up our mission and vision for the company. We focus on strategic marketing initiatives, and so we allow companies to partner with us. So when I'm out at festivals and fairs and stuff like that, it's an opportunity for your company to lead generate and create marketing opportunities. We have a speakers bureau. I have a tackle tobacco campaign where I talk to the youth about the importance of staying away from harmful products and harmful people. And so we'll have school tours set up this school year. We're actually looking for a couple other sponsors, some big sponsors that want to impact the state, because the state has a failing grade when it comes to vaping and tobacco. And so we're trying to get this program back out there so we can bring it back up to an A, because years ago when I started off the campaign, we were at an A. And so with the vaping epidemic,
Hmm.
then it has fallen tremendously. And we have our Good Works campaign. And so the Good Works campaign is the free football camps that I do for kids with special needs and underprivileged youth
That's
to
awesome.
attend. The
Awesome.
next one we have coming up is July the 12th at Heath High School from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We still have a few slots available. So when you guys do go to the website, just click on Football Fun Camp. The registration will close soon. We got commitments from all of our celebrity guest coaches from the 2024 national championship team. And so they're going to be teaching the kids the essential life skills that it takes to be successful in life and on the football field. And so the guys going to be bringing out their championship rings and letting the kids take photos and all of that good stuff. So we're super excited, and all of the coaches will be able to speak to the kids. And so that's Buck Icon in a nutshell. And so we're super excited about partnering with companies in the community and just paying it forward. And then my next appreciation of life is I have a life insurance agency called Snyder Cotton Agency. It's like our family
Good.
business.
Okay.
We make sure
Okay.
families understand the importance of having financial education and being covered with life insurance. A lot of people don't realize how important that is. A lot of people think, oh, I have it through my job or something like that. And it's like, your life insurance policy with your job is like having a company car. Like once you leave, you got to give it back. and it don't go with you. And then when you transition, you're a little bit older, and so the cost for insurance is going to be more
Expensive.
um, expensive. And
Expensive.
so you want to make sure that you have your own personal policy, and then if you have kids, you want to make sure your kids have their own personal policy, and we get them set up with policies that build up cash value, so when it's time for them to purchase a house or a home or need to start a business or want to get educated, essentially become your own bank. And so it's great to pay yourself a loan and pay yourself interest, right? And
Yeah.
so those are some of like the insurance hacks that we try and share with families to make sure that they properly cover. But it's important because when we transition, you're going to leave a bill behind, whether that's a funeral, if you owe a mortgage or car payment or something like that, those bills don't just evaporate. So you want to make sure that there's enough asset protection and things. So on the toughest day, or whoever's going to be picking up the pieces for your family, then you want to make sure that you're leaving them the financial support that's going to help them emotionally.
Now, are you on Twitter or Facebook where you want people can reach out to you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Plugged up?
Um, if you want to follow me, it's at Buck Icon, Buckicon, or if you want to check out our YouTube channel, you can see a lot of my information and previous camps and things like that. You can go to the YouTube channel. That's at Buck Icon, Buckicon 52. And then if you want information about our agency, you can check out at Snyder Cotton, SNYDERCOTTON agency. And you can follow us. And if you need any information, you could call or text me. This is the fastest way to get a hold of me, 614-517-2172. That's 614-517-2172. And I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back, 614-517-2172. I was told if you tell people 3 times, then it'll automatically stick in their brains.
Hey guys,
It
I tell
works.
you, if you call James or you text him, he will answer you back. Trust me, I know. I've been nothing but awesome to us. Every time I text him, he's always texting me back. So great dude. TG, you got any more questions for Mr. Cotton before we wrap this up?
No, I do not. He's answered all my questions.
James, thank you again for coming on and giving us your time. Maybe we'd have you come on again another time and talk some more football during the season if you got the time to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Leading up to the season, during the season, I'm just a text away, as you guys know. So just hit me up. Uh, it's good to be on. You guys are doing a phenomenal job of keeping people engaged. I think this is a great platform. Um, so anything I can do to help you guys out, just let me know.
We
Thanks.
appreciate you. Just coming on helps us, and we appreciate it. And it's always great to talk to any former Buckeye great that we can get on here. And we just appreciate you giving us your time.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it.
And guys, please hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And please go on Buckeye Icon on Mr. Cotton's YouTube page, and let's blow that thing up for him. Let's give him some more subscribers. Let's get the word
Yeah.
Yeah,
out. Let's help the man.
please.
Let's help a former Buckeye. I mean, let, he's he's sacrificed for us, so let's help him out. Give him some subscribers and blow that channel up for the man. And it's awesome work that you're doing with the special needs kids, the football camps. That's just a wonderful thing. So I commend you on that. And guys, before we go, please, everybody out there, thank you for your support. Like, share, subscribe, like we said before. As we leave today, all we can say is OH,
I oh.
Yo.
go
We
Bucks. Have a great day, everyone.